Okay, audio should be working. Let's see. Let's bring this down a little. Man, that is an odd picture, isn't it? Oh well. A little desaturated. Okay, let's bring it in a bit. Zeus is here with me. Yeah, something like that. He's growling. There's something up there. Zeus, come here. What are you doing? Where's the bear? What a guy. Okay, okay, okay. Good. Jeez. Settle down. Yeah, good job. It's got a lot of life, this little guy. Let me just check audio. Um, there we are. Okay. Let's see if I can hear myself. Oh, there I am. Kathy and Samantha, Rebecca, and Crystal are here. Hello. Zeus is still growling at something. What is it, buddy? It is a gorgeous evening. Um, we have had rain, cold, weird cold weather, windy with a storm. I haven't really covered a lot of it in videos, but there's a tree that lives behind. Actually, it's dead, so this is probably the problem, part of the problem. But it's behind the big arena or the small arena, covered arena, and the top came off and landed about 5 feet away. Say no, no, you don't want that. Um, Storms are scary around here for me. I mean, scary in general, but a lot of tall trees. Anyways, absolutely gorgeous evening. I was out. Zeus and I were just, you know, enjoying it a little for a quick coffee. And I thought, well, maybe actually there were some really great questions that come in on the comments. Oh man, it's a chocolate coffee. I love chocolate coffee. So it's almost the only thing I drink for coffee. And anyway, so I was gonna just make a normal video. Well, I haven't done a live one, and plus, oh, there's David. Hey, buddy. Samantha, you never stop with the jokes. It's a good one. Did you see Samantha? Zeus, where's Samantha? Where is she? He's looking that way. Where's Samantha? Where is she? I don't know. Come here. Hi, buddy. Okay. So he's going to keep guard for us while I go over. Hello, Teresa. I haven't seen you in a little while here. Of course, you haven't seen me in a little while. Olives is here. Hello, Olives. I'll if you guys have anything in here, I'll try to catch it. But I'm going to flip back to the comment section of the channel, just the normal videos, because there's some great questions. Brenda, hello, Brenda, and Ron, the backdrop. I know these lights are fantastic. They used to go over that way where the fire pit is, but fires became, not as advisable to light anymore. And then now it's rained like crazy and everything's soaking wet. So it probably doesn't matter, but I'd already moved the lights over that way because obviously that's where the tub is. And that thing's awesome. It's probably going to receive a visit this evening. Okay, so Ida's here. Hey, Ida, I haven't seen you in a while either. It has been a while for all of us. I agree. Okay, so I'm going to. So I just scrolled back to Samantha's comment. Zeus is still looking that way. We do have some bears here and there. Frog. Hear a frog. Actually, not very far away. Weird. Okay. Yes. I got everybody. Okay, so let's. I'm going to flip over to the comments, and I'm going to cover the first one. This one was actually a. I mean, I really love all the comments that come in for questions or good wishes for Zeus. Thank you, everybody. Everybody who's here now or will be here or watching this later, thank you for all your worries about Zeus. He's fantastically recovered. It's amazing. Um, Pretty much back to normal, which is I'm very thankful for because he's an older dog. Some of the concern was that he was getting old, and maybe something had properly occurred to his body that wasn't going to be recoverable. But turns out pancreatitis is a recoverable thing. So anyhow, okay, all good. He's good. Thank you, everybody. I love that everybody's concerned about him, and he's sort of I've had some people write in the comments. He's a bit of a family member, and the horses are too, and that's awesome. That's amazing. I was actually answering a Haley had asked me. She says, "What do you like best about the YouTube channel?" It was a really interesting question. It kind of came out of the blue after talking about something. I don't remember what it was, but she says, "What do you like best about it? Do you like, you know, teaching? Do you like the people, kind of thing?" And my answer really it actually was. I said, "Yeah, I love the fact that it's not just me who's I've made a place, but there's a whole bunch of people who helped create this community of people who are very positive and very encouraging and very kind. And I find that awesome. I mean, you hear a little bit too much about. I was talking to somebody, and they said that the internet is like the bathroom wall. Everybody writes on it, and it's garbage or something. And I thought, I don't think so. And I actually started talking about. I don't know if any of you guys watch Joe Rogan. He does a podcast. This is kind of like a podcast. He does a podcast, a regular podcast with some properly famous people and smart and accomplished people. And he himself obviously is quite accomplished and has done a lot and well read and thinks a lot and stuff like that. And he had done a podcast with Lex Friedman, who is a brilliant young man who is studying artificial intelligence, knows a heck of a lot about a heck of a lot of things. Really smart, but he was talking about trying to solve the problem of commenting system. And everything he said, I loved. I agreed with 100% that the commenting system is broken as it is now because it allows, the trolls to kind of wander on in. And in some cases, they sort of take over the commenting system, but not here. That just, once every month, 2 months, somebody comes in and says some comment about being an idiot or, I don't know, doing the wrong thing or something. And I just think, whatever, because 99% of the time it's you guys that it's great. Anyway, so yeah, it really was. And the bonus is that we get to share the horses and teach and have fun and make weird videos every once in a while and be creative and so yeah. Okay, so first question, and this one was it's on the video. You guys, it's an older. I guess it's an older video, and I've done a couple of videos on this topic, on why horses bite. And I'm just gonna briefly check back and make sure all is good. Pop's here. Hello, Pop. Going to bed soon. All right. That's cool. It's probably late for other people. For me, it's still 8 o'clock or something, even though it's dark. It's about 8:10. Oh man, nothing like a nice chocolate coffee. Okay, so the question is about biting, and I'll read it, and then I'll get into some stories a little bit. So, lady named Victoria says, my new gelding was in his stall, and I was in the aisle next to him talking to somebody, and he lunged and bit my arm while my back was turned. I corrected him immediately, but he was never offered to bite before or be dirty at all. How would you propose I go about this, as he left a good bruise and I don't feel like getting another one? I did put carrots in his feed dish and he was getting pretty cranky with the pony in the next stall. Thanks. Happy face. So the video I did about biting, David, if you're kind of at your computer, if you're at your phone, it might not be as good. If you're at your computer, can you stick the link in there for, I don't know if I can, maybe I can. Maybe I'll just find it. Oh, I can. Share. I'll put this in here for reference for later, so people who are watching later. Why doesn't it let me just copy it? What a pain. Okay, let's go to YouTube. I'm gonna switch, share, copy link, go back, go back, go back to YouTube. Oh no, I'm not even in my video anymore. Okay, and paste. Okay, there you go. All right, that's the video I'm talking about. And so the video talking about why horses bite, and a lot of the reasons horses bite is because they've already told us something already. Usually a kick or a bite is kind of a last resort for horses. They don't tend to want to resort to that level of force or pressure. And I did beat you to it. Sorry, buddy. Oh, Pop's got a question. What year did you get Lena? I'll just interrupt because that's an easy one. We got Lena, I think about 4 years ago. Actually, there was a question that came up very recently here. So we're talking about when Lena came. I think it was a new student that had come for a lesson. We're talking about Lena. Yeah, so 4 years ago. Okay. So the reason that horses bite almost no matter what is because they're trying to tell you to do something, usually to move, to get out of the way or pay attention or something like that. And it can be quite painful. I've been bit maybe twice. I think in my whole time I've been bit maybe twice. And one of those times was by Gracie. So, you know, it doesn't have to be somebody else's bad horse. It could be your bad horse. Usually it is your bad horse. And then the question is, well, what do you do? Well, immediately you would have them move away from you. You would say, you're unsafe to be with me. You've obviously tried to tell me to do something, but I am not going to respond to such pressure. That is too much pressure for me. Don't do that anymore. Keep trying whatever you were doing before that I ignored. And that's the message we want to give by having them. 4 years is not bad. It's not bad indeed. Thanks, buddy. What we want to give the message of, and a very consistent message, no matter what they do, you know, in regards to giving us pressure that we don't want to tell us to do something that they want, is to make sure that if we don't want it, we just keep saying no, and to avoid any physical damage to ourselves, we would have them be away. So if you couldn't get it done just by waving your hands or shouting or whatever, you might have, you know, a rope or something that would have them go away. So the video that I referenced in there is, I think it's I think it translated well and to that idea. So if a horse feels like it can do that and it will get results for it, which is very, very normal for horses to bite to get something, that's what they do all the time, then they will. So I'll put a response to that video. Obviously, I'm not just going to say this because this Victoria may never catch it. But the idea is that you want to be incredibly consistent to watch for the stuff that happens before the bite. And usually it will be some kind of forward movement towards you, some kind of extra pressure. The head will be coming in and the lips. I don't know if you guys can hear the traffic, but once in a while there's a really noisy, I'm white, so I get to say this, a really noisy redneck that goes driving by. Can I say that? I think I can say it. You can call white people rednecks because, you know, you get a sunburn. Just noisy trucks with really loud mufflers. Yeah. So the ears, the eyes, the lips, the footsteps towards you will all be a precursor to the bite. And so then it comes to, I think her question is, how can I trust my horse? And if you can't trust your horse, or you're worried that maybe you can't, the best idea is to step away enough, especially if they're in a stall and you have a fence, which is sort of the next bit I'm going to cover in a second here. You have that fence there that can say, you can't reach me because you can't get over the fence, or your neck isn't long enough, and head and neck isn't long enough to reach me over here. I know I'm safe. I don't need to pay attention. I don't need to stop you from doing that. But if you don't trust your horse and you want to train them, then stand close enough, but pay attention, pay very close attention. If they're sort of stomping next to you, or they're jigging around, or they're pushing on the wall or the fence, um, I would consider the fence my object. If I'm on the fence, if this is my fence here, and I'm sort of leaning on it, chit-chatting with somebody, and my horse is over there sort of bugging the fence, I consider the fence my space, and I'd say, yeah, fence. That way, the fence is the first thing that sort of receives that action, and likely has received that action, and then me. If they can't even get to the fence, they're not going to come to me. Um, and it's really, really common, which leads to my next story about that idea, is a lot of times, and I guess I should say, I see it a lot here, have seen it a lot here, where people come with apples and carrots and pears and other delicious goodies for horses that they love to nibble on. And when they go to feed the horses in the arena, because the horses will be, that's why when I do the live streams, when I go to feed them, I try not to feed them at the fence line. I think I've covered this, but I'm going to cover it again because it pertains to this exact problem. Why did your horse bite you? And when people go to the fence and go to feed my horses, the horse will come in, my horses will come in, and they'll push on that fence. Their chest is right on that fence, pushing on the fence. And the people on the other side of the fence back up. They step back because horses' heads and necks are, probably good this long. I can make it over top of the fence, it's like 3.5, 4 feet. They really reach out and stretch out. And so them being on that fence gives us a sense of safety, but it is a total false sense of safety because if that fence wasn't there, what would you actually do? Would you only step back one step? Probably not, because if you're stepping back with a barrier in the way, then you're probably going to step back normally if you didn't have that barrier. So when I do the live streams and I give out carrots for the carrots for members, you guys buy some carrots. It's nice. And feed them. I am adamant that I go to them to feed them. They don't come to me, and they certainly don't pressure me. So, and I try to be very consistent about that. I try to be quite solid. But of course, there's other people that come along and they feed them, and so they kind of get used to pressing on the fence again, and it's just a habit. But I wouldn't tolerate it for me. So uh, they know to be wary. Like, is he going to give us some, or is he going to get out his pool noodle again? And I want them to think. I don't want them to have a sense of entitlement to come in and push on my fence, unless I were to invite that far. Like, come on in, I'll give you a treat or a hug, whatever, a stretch. And so, yeah, if you choose, so the answer to this in the end is, if you choose to be on the fence and totally tune out your horse that you thought you could trust, now you can't trust. Now this is looking forward. What could you have done? Nothing. You may have already set it up. I don't know, but if you're on the fence and every time they come and push on it, you step back, you are encouraging them to go further. They know they can move you back and get off of their fence. Now it's their fence, their wall. And in such a case, you're set up to have them do what horses do. And it sucks. So make the wall your own, make the fence your own. If you're here chit-chatting with a buddy, keep an ear, or put an eye in the back of your head kind of thing. Be like, where's my horse? peripheral vision, whatever it is. And when they come up demanding, give me my carrots. Say no. Get them off the wall. Say, back up. I want to chat with my friend right now. I'm very busy. I don't have carrots for you. It's not your carrot. My carrot. I'll let you know when you get a carrot. But it isn't done out of, you know, anger per se. It's just done out of ownership. Like somebody comes up and says, "Give me your car." Like, what? It's my car. And they step on your foot or something like that. Yeah, I want your car. But it's mine. So no. It'd be like that. Your food is your food until it's their food. So I hope that makes sense. And I will definitely try to link that for that video for this here. But if it doesn't make sense, let me know. Before I get to my next question, I'm just going to double check comments because holy smokes. Pop's dad's watching football. Mr. Unknown is here. Hello, all the way from Australia. D.D. David's here. Hello. Kathy has a question. What were the circumstances around Gracie's bite? Did you see it coming? No, I did not see it coming. I knew she was agitated, so I knew I needed to be aware. I didn't think she'd do it, but she's very fast. Horses are very fast. And I had sort of turned a little. I was bugging her. Let's put it that way. I wasn't just standing around doing nothing. I was bugging her, and I thought she would just continue to yell at me with her ears and her eyes or something like that. But she was very quick and I thought, yep, that's normal. That happens. And there's no punishment kind of to be done. That's not cool. Don't do that. Back off. Let's do a reset. But I'm going to continue to do what I'm doing. I got to bug you. You've got to be able to handle this. And I think it was touching her belly or her stifle or something like that. And it appears she's quite sensitive to that, and too sensitive. And I didn't essentially have a proper blocking hand where I could do one thing and another. And I think I probably had a hand here, and faster than I could respond due to it being unexpected. She just reached over and she just got me just on the back a little bit, and she quickly, she was very quick to get in and get out. She wasn't staying. She wasn't continuing to try to hassle me. But I couldn't have that have an effect. Otherwise, she might consider doing it again. So instead of upper, I continue to do what I do, and it's actually relatively common with horse training where, and that video I did with Tana, kicking, and there are times where you're going to say, well, where is the line? How far can I get before you lose it? Not to a level that's just nuts, but like, where are you going to say, no, don't do that anymore? Real serious, like, just no different than we were. Horses check in all the time. How far can they sort of push you around a little bit? You take one step back and one step more, and one step more. There's a pair. Before you say, no, I won't have it. Is it one step? Is it 3 steps? You know, is it up against the fence? Completely compromise your safety. And so, she didn't assume. She just said, can you stop now. No, I will not. You need this. And then it's back to being reassuring. Like, no, you can't do that. That's it. It's unacceptable. It's dangerous. And it hurts. You don't get hurt. Yeah, you're bothered, but I'm not hurting you. I'm tickling you, but not hurting you. So that's a while ago. Can't even remember when that was. Probably a good year. Sure. I thought I talked about it. Maybe I didn't. Good question, Kathy. I can cover that fast. pretty. Audio's acting up. I don't know. Can you hear me? Audio's dropping in some static. Gee whiz, I hope not. Audio any better? Hopefully it is. Yeah, I'll just put the receiver or the sender over here. I'm using a closer mic, so I'm not using the mic on the phone because it's garbage. Okay, so Kathy, if that answers your question, great. Probably does. Mr. Unknown says, is working a horse or moving the horse's feet for refusing to come to you so you can put the halter on is a kind of abuse? I was told so. Don't know if that is correct. Well, mic's right here. Should be good. It's just maybe not reaching. Better. Everybody says better. Cool. You know, these microphones are really good. I really like them, but without a clear line of sight, it seems, like if it's down here and I'm sort of leaning forward and my arm's over top of it, it doesn't go well. Sorry about the static. I'll try to pay attention to comments a little bit better in case something goes wrong. Abuse to move a horse around. And if it is, how do you make a horse come to you to put the halter on? Okay, Ron, I'll get to your question soon. It's sort of an easy one. Okay, so I did a video with Roni. Okay, David, you're on search duty. And it was, can't remember the title of it though, so weird. Might have to look in the playlist, but essentially it was, it might have been how to halter hard to halter a horse or something like that, or how to get a horse to come to you or something. And it was with Macaroni or Gracie, maybe Gracie. Damn it, forget it. I don't remember the title or nothing. Is it abuse to chase a horse around to get them to come to you? With the video I just recently did, so see, this is probably the position I was in, and it's down here. With the video I just put up of Tana chasing Rue to make Rue stay with her, and Ohana chasing Tana to make, David, can you put a link to that in here for me, please? Just that recent video. I'm looking at my phone as if I'm talking to you, but the reality is you're that way. To the west. Tana was bothered enough by Ohana that she ended up just going to be with her. No halter. No, I don't consider it abuse to make a horse's feet move to get them to understand you want them to be with you. But it might be how somebody went about it that might not be kind. Abuse is a big word, especially in the horse world, especially nowadays and stuff and kind of thing. Like people are really, really sensitive to horses being properly abused. There's lots out there, even locally. We have horses that are starving, that are not being taken care of, feet not getting trimmed at all. If you chase them around with whipping them or something like that, and you're whacking on them and really, you know, causing some physical and mental damage, that's abuse. To get them to be with you, you're probably not going to have a lot of luck. But if you watch how Ohana, get it, buddy? It's only like the last video or something. Pop's going to bed. Good night, Pop. If you look at that video, you'll see how Ohana hassles Tana enough to change her mind about where to be. And if Ohana was a human and she had a halter ready, she would have been able to get Tana haltered. She didn't even need a halter, and she had Tana following her around. You saw the very last clip of that, and Tana was following her. So if a horse, if you go get a horse and they leave, they're gone. The idea, and this is a good one because I have a lot of my students, and I have a lot of thoughts in my head about this. And one of them is to teach multi-horse horsemanship, because I'll have my students come and they'll have to go get their horse from the group in the arena. And a lot of times the horse that they want wants to be with the horses, not the humans, because they're probably going to get, hassled. You got to do groundwork, you got to do riding. It's like, what? No, I just want to hang out with my friends. Of course, it's normal. So yeah, so I just saw your comment there. Okay. How I expect my horse to put a halter on? No, it's not that one. It's a different one, but you can put that one up too. That's not bad. But not that one. No, it's one. I'm in the second paddock, and trying to get. I think I was trying to get Roni to come to me, and there's a point in there where he leaves me, and I let him kind of wander off. But I change my angle, or I change my angle and apply some pressure so that he'll turn, and then I back up a little. It is definitely how you do it, but it is 100% an effective and useful method to get accurate. And while Ohana is young and still working through it, she still has a bit of an elementary way of doing it, but it was effective. The fact that it was so obvious on how she was doing it makes it a great teaching tool. I would say if anybody is doing it the way she's doing it, kudos. It's great. You're doing okay. It could be done better. It could be more accurate. She's a big girl, hard to move her body around so much. She could have been more experienced in the way she turns, I think, but that's speaking pretty highly of whatever I think my skills are. Maybe, I don't know. But watching her, I think, oh, you went the wrong way. You should turn the other way. But who knows? Maybe in her head, she was thinking, if I turn this way, maybe Tana won't leave. Oh, geez. Okay, well, I've gone this way now. I'll go get her now. Who knows, right? But if you're in a paddock or stall or something small like that, and they, not so big like a huge arena or a field, even, it's even worse. If you've got to get them, you kind of have to bug them until they think, okay, what do you want? But you must be able to create the draw in the end. You must be working towards creating the draw, not looking to drive. You're always looking to not drive, so you're giving every opportunity to draw. If that makes sense. Does that make sense? David, it's just oh, well, don't worry, I don't want that one, but just, if you could put up the most recent one. But Mr. Unknown says he watched it, but I just thought I'd put it in case anybody watches this video in the future, and it's months from now or years from now, and they're like, what video are you talking about? So, that's what it is, when horses go from good to bad. Thank you, Kathy. That's the one, when horses go from good to bad. And essentially he has done it again. You leave him alone for long enough, he's like, I'm out. And then you get up to him and he turns into this little love bug. It's odd. It's fine. Just keep working at it. It's a good example. But he's very easily, you can easily create distance with him. And so I always tell people, if you're going to work with him, be sensitive. Be very, very sensitive. And always offer to be with him rather than to be looking to move him. Have him have a think, just like in the video I did about that too. Actually, just recently with with what you can do to improve your relationship through small things, and that's also a very recent video. Missy's here. Hello, Missy. Um, so drive and draw until you get a draw. Yes, yes. Um, with the idea that you emphasize draw as much as you can. You are really trying to give with all of your thoughts and all of your energy. You're saying, please come be with me. I will. And just like if you watch Ohana, when she gets Tana to stop, there's times when she kind of, if Tana's here, she kind of looks away and then she looks back and then she looks away and she sort of looks down and then she looks back and then she holds. Tana reaches. She says, "Oh, cool, want to be with me?" You know, it is a really, really good video. I got really lucky with that one, I think. Tremendous teaching tool, method that we as humans can really apply. So there you go. All right. And horses go good to good from bad. That's a good one. And then the recent one, if you could, of Ohana chasing Tana. And then the other one, horsemanship, little horsemanship things that I did, I think recently. Thanks, buddy. You're the best. So, I would be really interested to hear what that person thought it's abuse. And I would expect that maybe perhaps they've experienced somebody really kind of hassling a horse a lot, chasing them around. There's a really poignant video I watched from Clinton Anderson. I've had a lot of conversations, not a lot, enough to call it a lot, I suppose, with people, what they think of Clinton Anderson. They ask me, what do you think of Clinton Anderson? And I say, well, the guy's got a lot of horse skills. It's too bad he doesn't apply them very well. But his videos are atrocious. He'll do a bit and then he'll cut and then it'll come to some other thing and cut, come to some other thing. Like, well, what happened in between? How'd you go from there to there? You know, because the horse will be kind of bad and then suddenly it'll be kind of good. There's this one video that really stood out to me. He was trying to get a horse to side pass along the wall or something like that. It wasn't working. And he goes, well, hang on a second. And they cut. And 15 minutes later, it comes back in and the horse is sweating. It's like, what? He says, okay, here's how you get it done. He starts whack, 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 whack on the saddle while moving the horse along the wall. And I thought, okay, let me get this straight. You couldn't get it done. 15 minutes has passed. The horse is sweating in 15 minutes. And the result is you're still whack, whack, whacking on the horse. Have you not done anything that has softness or kindness? And so that to me is abuse. I would consider that abuse. I consider, what'd you have to do to make that horse sweat? Did you chase the crap out of it? Is that what's happening? Get the horse to be with you, pay attention to get it to side pass? Did you chase it around and freak it out? Yeah, that's abuse. I'd say that borders on it for sure. Maybe not of the greatest nature, but it's like, it's not cool. Don't do that. Maybe that person saw that. Maybe that person said to you, that's not how you get a horse to be with you. That's abuse. Yeah, absolutely. But if you're sensitive and kind and you're looking to draw and you're doing everything you can to say, hey, please come be with me. What do you mean you're going away? No, don't go away. Move, move. And they move. And then you can kind of come back and you can draw back again. And hopefully they'll come be with you. They'll think, oh, what do you want? Oh, you want me to just, should I just stay? Yeah, you should just stay. I'm going to come to you now. And if they go to leave, you're like, no, no, don't go. And you sort of block their drive line, or you sort of block the eye, we call it. Maybe I should do a video on that. It's a good question. Thanks for the question. These pears falling out of the tree is freaking me out half the time. It's so dark over there because the lights are right here. I needed to be near the lights, otherwise the camera wouldn't pick me up. Zeus is in Solarium. Okay, Ron had a good question. Mr. Unknown, please let me know if that answers your question, or if there's anything I would need to cover. Henna and cutting, it's fantastic. David's watched many videos twice. Pear Bears. I know. It's dark, Missy. It is dark enough. Like here. You know, it looks like that to me. You see, because the light's there and stuff, and it's like it doesn't pick it up at all. So anyhow, so I don't know. And anyhow, so yeah, when something falls out of the sky, it sort of freaks me out. Crashes, hits the trampoline or into the bushes or through the leaves and stuff. So, okay, so Ron had a great question. Sorry, Ron, it's took too long. It took so long to get to this one. He says, what did Ron say? Jesus, so ways back, or I just missed it? Oh, there it is. What I'm saying is interesting. I wish he'd read the comments about the mic. Irritating. I know, I hate bad audio. Ah! You could reach through the phone and like, look at your comments, you dummy. Ron says, I was watching a video on a rescued horse having her lower jaw being shaved with electric clippers. Any reason for doing that? Right. Okay. So a rescued horse having their lower jaw shaved. First thing I would wonder is if are they doing a procedure that requires investigation? Is there a tooth problem? Do they need to do an ultrasound for some reason? I would wonder about that. If it's just purely for the purposes of shaving their face, which is quite common. I don't know what, because you say rescued, Ron, you might have to fill me in, buddy. Help me out with that one. Was it for a medical reason? If it was, it would probably be for an ultrasound. Ultrasounds, I've got a video that I meant to do, and I don't think I've done, but I had an ultrasound done on Roni for his back leg one time, a long time ago now, a couple of years for sure. But I took video, of course, and you have to shave the hair off. And then, of course, the gel is applied and the ultrasound is used. So I would, if they were shaving, proper shaving, or if it was just trimming. Is it shaving or trimming? Let me know. Horses are moving around behind me. Brenda's here. Hello, Brenda. LM Otterson. Damn it, I forgot the name of it already. Otterson always reminds me of this cartoon. I can't remember it now. Thanks, Dave, for putting the links in. Okay, let me just see about this. So yeah, so Ron, figure out if you can remember what the that's what it is. LM Otterson. Every time I see your name, I think of Mr. Otterton from the cartoon Zootopia. Finally, I figured it out. Okay, that's off my mind. So the sound is pretty soft. And did you answer my question why someone would shave the lower jaw of a horse with electric clippers? Well, I tried to, but I don't know why. If they're just clipping the hair, a lot of people do that because they think their horse looks better. They think it makes them look cleaner, but in the reality is actually it's not good. Because they use the hairs around their eyes, their eyelashes, and around their nose and around the bottom of their mouth to detect things on the ground and around them so that they don't smash their mouth or their face. And the story that I always generally tell is that I knew of a horse that a girl owned, and she did all kinds of eventing and stuff like that and wanted her horse to look clean, shaved all the hair in its ears, shaved off its eyebrows, shaved off its nose hairs and chin hairs so it was perfectly clean. And one day that horse got its face too close to something, just couldn't detect that it was too close to a nail or something like that, and essentially just sliced its whole face open. It had 13 stitches or something like that, or whatever, and it was like a $10,000 vet job, and it could have been prevented if she just didn't think that she had to make her horse look good. Horses look beautiful with their hair. So, yeah. I always think of a racehorse named Arson. Brenda likes the lights. Thanks, Brenda. I told the story a little bit earlier, but essentially these lights used to go over that way towards the fireplace, but the fires recently, and the tub's over there, and so it made sense to put the lights over this way. I put in some stairs here, so it's lit up this little path. Anyways, it all worked out great. It all looks good. Mr. Unknown, you are welcome. Ah, yes, chasing a horse until it gets tired and sweaty. It is not an uncommon thing. And unfortunately, I was actually talking to somebody today, I think it was. I have a lot of conversations with people, but, or probably yesterday. Actually, I think it was yesterday. And the problem is there are too many videos that encourage us to apply too much drive and don't concentrate much on the draw. And suddenly it looks magical after a horse has been sweating its butt off that they come to you like, oh, that's how you get it done. No, that's not really how you get it done. It really isn't. If you want to learn how to draw a horse, you know, watch other horses. They don't make other horses totally lose it, you know, and freak out and be afraid and scared and stuff. If Rue wasn't in the arena, Ohana would have had way more luck. But the fact of the matter is that Tana was very drawn to Rue, still is very drawn to Rue. And her mind is set to there, probably because she's higher up on the ladder and would like not to be lower. But Ohana wasn't offering that. She wasn't offering a higher, lower thing. She was giving it, but she wasn't offering a higher, lower thing. And that might be the key to draw, where you're not saying, look, I really need to be up here. It's more like, I need to be just up here. And once in a while, you can be a little here. Just be safe. But mostly it'll be me just a little here. We'll go together a lot. And it'll be very peaceful and kind. Yeah. So, too many videos not showing that. It's too bad. So you're not, in reality, you're not going to give the horse a choice, but you give him a choice to take the very best you can give. Does that make sense? Hope so. Brenda, I like how you narrate and make the horse have personality. It's so funny and creative. Thanks. You're welcome. I don't know. I just think that they have that personality, and I'm just channeling it, you know, like a psychic, a horse psychic. Okay. 26 people here. You guys sure are quiet on questions, but that's cool. Diane's here. Hey, great. She says, I regret don't regret those comments. Those comments are fantastic. I've actually borrowed those ideas. Your comments are common. And the good thing is that you left them. You allowed a conversation and discussion to happen that I bet a lot of other people were thinking and would not have bothered to write, because they would have no faith that either they would get an answer or they'd get the answer they want, or they didn't have time for it or something like that. So I'm actually very happy. Please don't have any regrets that you wrote any of those comments. Your comments are very normal, or thoughts are very normal about what that looks like, whether horses are bullies or boss mares or things like that. And in my mind, because I'm always here, so through, you know, it's based on how much observation I do every single day. and my understanding of these guys here and how they are together, and just in horses in general, I have an easier time seeing a wider view of everybody and not just what's happening with 2 out of 9 or 3 out of 9. Um, and the video is fantastic for that because it allows us all to review at the same time and see. And it's not just my uh, subjective opinion of it. We can see this happens with that horse, this happens with that horse, this happens with that horse. It's how we would modify it to, as I said, anthropomorphize, which I do plenty of times. Brenda just finished saying, I love how you give them personalities. That is purely anthropomorphizing. I am truly just giving them some kind of human emotion. And it's funny. It's funny to me most of the time. Sometimes it's a lot more funnier to me probably than other people, but whatever. It's good. And, but when we're there to learn about something like that, I try my best in the moment to try to explain what's going on, but unfortunately, a lot of times it's much more, if we look at, if it's a pyramid, I'm much more higher level speaking of it rather than kind of breaking it down because I don't have enough time or attention to do it until later. So your comment was fantastic. So don't regret that. It's great. I'm glad we were able to have a discussion about it and that my observations made sense to you. And if they didn't, I'd also want to know, you could still say, yeah, but that doesn't make sense. And I'd be okay with that. So don't worry about it. Great to have you here. Thanks for coming in. Having a bad day. Don't worry. Don't worry. All have bad days. You know, all kinds of things going on in life right now. So don't sweat it. Come to a safe place. It's all good. You love watching the horses here. That's awesome. Thank you, Diane. um, yes, we did. Missy, aren't you supposed to be here grooming? What happened? You see them daily and know them and their tendencies. We sadly don't get that from this side. Not without enough videos, and I think I'm going over 900 now videos that I've got, and each time I feel like I present something slightly different or show something slightly different. And I think with enough time, actually a girl came here on Saturday for a lesson and she said she'd been watching a video. She says, coming here is weird. It's like, it's real, you know, she's looking around. And I thought, yep, this is it. This is real. Poison says, what's with the poison some see? Sump? What is that? What's that for? Can you tell me? Haley had asked, you'd left a really nice comment. And Haley said, who wrote that? And I'm like, poison sump. What's that? No. In regards to the Ohana Tana Roo, and by the way, it is Tana, not Tanner. But I know how I sort of mumble my words as my Canadian accent sort of. Tana Roo combo. Have you ever seen co-grooming with horses under those circumstances as opposed to mutual grooming with horses such as Luke, Peggy, and Lena? That is a fantastic question, to be honest. Sumac. Oh, I see. Okay. Fantastic. Okay. Can you give me 2 seconds? It's actually within the hour that I've started this. It's just started to get a little bit, it's chilly enough that if I had a sweater, I'd be happier. So 2 seconds. 2 seconds. You know what? I should just do this from the hot tub. No, don't do that. Zeus, you need to go outside with me. All right. There. Okay. Coming out. I don't know if I can show you guys if you can be able to see it, but it's a big moon. There it is up there. Hey, maybe I can get that in the picture. There's the moon. It's huge. It's almost full. A couple more days, I guess. We got Venus. up there as well. Any astronomers on the live stream? I love planet and space. Okay, got my Cookie Monster sweater on. Much better. It's not cold. It's just got a bit of a chill to it. Missy says Kathy has a good question. Sorry, Kathy. Hang on a second. Okay. I shall definitely. Okay, sumac. Now it makes sense. What's with the poison though? Okay, co-grooming. Co-grooming is a big deal. Here's the thing about co-grooming, or I think the thing is about co-grooming. Because we groom horses, but we don't want them to groom us. Now, I've definitely seen Tana and Rue co-groom. I think I've seen Ohana groom with Gracie, and yet they don't really have that great of a relationship. But it seems that horses can come to an agreement together to assist in some itchiness. But I think your question revolves a little bit more around one sort of telling the other and initiating, and the other maybe not doing something. And Roni's not a bad example of that. He's terrible at co-grooming. Once in a while, he'll be encouraged to do it. But co-grooming where only one is grooming, the other is sort of adverse to it, it doesn't last long and doesn't create a lot of draw for horses. And they appear much more friendly, or they appear to get along better when they're that mutual co-grooming, rather than sort of get over here and scratch my back kind of thing. It doesn't look or feel as good, for sure, and it isn't as vigorous or amicable. Yeah, that's probably the best way to put it. Does that make any sense? Does that answer? Is that what you're looking for? Sorry I missed your question, Kathy. Thank goodness I was reminded. So Sue, let me know how that feels for you, if that makes any sense, if I got a question. So the answer is yes, I have seen it. It definitely doesn't feel the same or as good to me. And you only hope that they'll build a better relationship if they keep trying. Yeah. Kathy says, so when you meet a horse for the first time, what's the best way to establish an immediate relationship of trust and draw? Is that even possible? I'm going to visit a friend's horses in a week. Yes. I went to a place not too long ago, 2 or 3 weeks ago now, and I met a horse for the very first time. And his problem was that he likes to nibble on people. By chance, he's a young stallion. He's a young stallion, and they're going to keep him as a stallion. And they want to know, well, how can we establish a relationship that's going to make sense, and sort of have him get out of the habit of chewing on everybody. And I said, well, it's no problem. Let's get that done. And I was there for about an hour, I think, working a bit. And the first thing is to establish your space. So for that kind of horse. Now, if you came here, which you should one day, if you ever can, it'd be lovely, and needed to create a relationship with Luke or Lena, you know, you'd probably not have a lot of trouble. You would simply have to, there's a mouse in the solarium. This is the tiniest little guy. I don't know what to do. I might just leave him alone. No food in there. Adorable. He's literally probably like this big. Going around. So if you came and tried to create a relationship with them, you wouldn't have any trouble. But here's a story that I remember. I don't know where. I think I saw it on one of the DVDs by Buck Brenneman. I think. Oh no, he was his not a biography. It was that thing that it's called Buck, and the director Cindy followed him around for a bunch of clinics and made a story about him. Essentially, told his story as a human being. She's so inspired, she had to make a story about him. If you haven't seen it, it's really good, emotional in some parts, and is actually was an original one of my original inspirations to become as good as I could, to exceed and fall away from some of the ones like Clinton Anderson and things like that, and not pay attention to that crap, and see what what people were talking about, whether he does or some of the things he does. I don't agree with everything he does, but most, you know. And he had told a story about a guy wanting him to watch him work with some horses. And this guy showed him did a bunch of stuff, 3 or 4 horses or something like that. And he says, well, what do you think? Pretty good, right? And Buck says, well, if you wanted the truth, it looks like you're going to war with each one of them. You come in and you're looking for a problem. He says, what if somebody just brought you just this nicest little horsey that just wanted to do whatever you wanted to do? How would you even know what to do with a horse like that? And the story ended there or something like that. But the moral of that is each horse is going to be different. Each horse is going to come up offering something. So back to my source, back to the stallion. Very, I really hesitate to use the word pushy or aggressive because it does not describe a horse very well. If we were to objectively describe what he was doing, I would stand there and he would continue to approach and try to encroach on my space. Whether that was friendly or not, it was unwelcome. And I let him know by raising my rope and swishing it a little, and he continued to ignore and ignore and ignore. Now, whether that's through ignorance or not caring, not worrying about the possible ramifications, or just having no idea. And I really doubted that because the owner was trying to get away from the idea of using a chain around his nose. He'd come with a rope and a chain to control him. She says, I don't want to use that. And I saw it hanging, and I said, you don't need that. You just need to establish a boundary. And this is nothing you would have to do with Luke or Lena. You would never do this with them. They would never do this to you. They would never approach you that way. And he kept coming and kept coming. And finally, I really swished this thing down, and I just barely nicked his nose. And phew, he's gone. Gone. Took off. It's got a huge paddock. Beautiful place. It's gone. And I said, well, I better go get him. Better go get him. Yeah, 5 minutes later, I had him haltered, and he'd come along with me. But he was pretty wary. So now it was up to me to say, I really want to be a good friend. I'm sorry that I can't have you come into me like that. I see how you treat your owner. I see how you come up to me. You need to learn that it's not acceptable. And you'll see it with young horses. They'll just go barreling up to some horse, and that horse will be like, what the? And they'll get kicked. They won't make it away fast enough. They'll have no idea. I don't know what's going on. Why did you kick me? Well, you've come in too fast, too close, the wrong angle. Try again. And that's your job, is to offer the opportunities for them to try again. So if you want to create a relationship, it's really going to depend on Missy's got to go to bed. Good night, Missy. Pick up on my way. The grooming job. It's going to depend on the horse, and I know that's it depends on the horse, but it'll depend on how they approach you. Do they want to be friends? Are they sort of accustomed to coming up to humans and being kind and quiet? Are they accustomed to getting scratches? Are they accustomed to to trying and succeeding in a very kind and happy way? Or is the only thing that they know is to come up kind of brash and unrefined? Do they come up defending themselves? So, yeah, case by case. But you're looking to offer a safe place to be. And sometimes it requires a bit of firmness to say, this is a safe place for me most, and you next. And by defending yourself also in that regard, you can sort of assert that you will, once you have control, it's your job now. Once you have a halter on a horse, it's your job to protect them. You must then be, as some people called Tana, when she got Rue in the corner, she goes and snorts and blows her nose all over the place and tells everybody to take off. You have to be that. Once you take control and you say, you're with me, it's your job and your responsibility to say, I'll protect you. There won't be. I don't like the idea that people say my horse will take care of me. I get really nervous about that thought process. How somebody might rely on a horse to take care of them. I think it's incorrect. Although they might, but I definitely wouldn't default to that. So that's what you'll want to impart. And if you feel like they are appreciative of that, you'll have no problems. It all will be good. So, okay, I'm gonna, hopefully that answers, that's another long answer. Arson started some oh, Anders is talking. Okay. So, Kathy, there you go. The best way to establish an immediate relationship of trust withdraw is to offer kindness, but to not allow them to infiltrate your safety circle, whatever you feel that should be, but to be kind about it, as kind as you can. And like you've seen with Lena a zillion times, if they look like they need something, like a scratch somewhere, offer it as best as you can. And if they're like Ruli, where you offer it and they're like, hey, it's too much, it would be sensitive to that as well and see that it's not you, but it's you. It's you, but not you. Yeah. Hope that helps. LM Otterson says, I've been watching your videos for a while and I really love your videos. I started watching some of your older videos before I started watching. It sounds funny when I read it back, but it's a lot of watchings. Thank you. I really am happy that you're enjoying them. All right. I'm assuming this is Bridget Moon. I love your videos. I've gotten such good information from them. Thank you. I'm glad you love them too. I hope that I can offer, something that's David. Something that's good. It's something that's useful. You can apply, and it allows me to actually have a variety of videos I can fall back to and say, well, how about this idea, or how about this idea, or this is what I presented here. What do you think? There's a ton of them, 900. So. But David says Graham's catalog is better than Netflix. I wish. Okay, Arson says, the first time I saw Tana, I saw a very insecure horse. In order for her to feel less secure, she seems to have controlled Rue. He seems to just tolerate her. Yeah. And you studied astronomy. Fantastic. I love astronomy. So, yes, Tana could use some more socialization for sure. She's not quite got it figured out here and there. Other times she looks good, and then other times you kind of think, "Oh, you okay there?" And it is a lot like Ohana. She has the same problem if you watch. she sort of, uh, you know, as Diane put it, sort of takes hostage. You know, Tana's taken Rue hostage, and it's a very elementary way of making friends, but it's a start. Um, and I think Ohana's a bit better at it. Yeah. Tana and Rue actually had an argument today. What does that even look like, right? They had an argument. They bickered. No, they uh, they had an argument. She was pushing Rue around too much. He finally said, "I had enough." But when he was done telling her he had enough, he went over to her and just went to be with her. So I think he's a good teacher. He's tolerant and allows her to do these things. And he's like, yeah, yeah, okay. He's like a really good big brother that just sort of tolerates the little brother until finally he's like, knock it off. That's too much. Calm down. And yeah, it was good. It was good. Nobody got hurt. Jane's here. Sorry I'm late joining. Looking through the comments. Did Gracie bite someone? Me, little turd. I punched her in the eyeball. Missy says it's definitely my go-to for entertainment. David's going out for a walk. Bridget Moon. I was wondering, what is the average size of your paddocks and the build you have done with the run-in shelters? Okay, common question. The average size of the paddocks is probably about 40 by 40 or so, maybe bigger, probably bigger. The forest is huge. The forest is close to 80 feet long, I think, at least 40 feet wide. The back paddock, I mean, Ruli's is probably one of the smaller ones because of the trees there. And hers is 40 by 25 or something. The back paddock, very back paddock, has got to be 60 by 40. Next smallest is probably Luke's. Again, 40, 30 by 30-ish. I don't know. I don't measure them. I have no idea. I really don't have any idea. So 30 by 30-ish. Lena's is a little bigger, at least 45 by 30. And the top paddock is easily 35 by 35-ish, something like that. Yeah. So good price, good sizes, I think. And yeah, they're actually all connectable. So that's cool. And I got one more connection to make. So I was going to do that soon. But that's for another day. She's going to pick Kathy up on the way here. Well, hurry up. She's not here. Ron's got to go to bed. Good night, buddy. Kathy says it helped. Good. Good, good. Yeah, let's see how it goes. See how it goes. You know, play it by ear. Look for softness in their eyes and their ears, and ask your friend for advice, obviously. Say, what do you think? How's it look? You know, if you observe enough, like if you've observed enough of my videos here and you watch others as well, you know, your instinct will probably kick in really well. You'll know what looks good. And I talk about it a lot. You'll know what looks bad because you know what looks good. You're like, that looks weird. Why is the horse doing that? Because you're used to a horse being normal. So Kathy says, do they prefer staying in one paddock or do they like new scenery every so often? I don't know. I think they like a change up. But they also like to just have their own place. It's familiar. Feels good. If actually a great example, I cut up all that brush along the side, the fence there, all the black blackberries and uh, that other weed, whatever, vine-like weed. Can't remember the name of it now. My brain is failing me. Cleared it all up, put Luke back, and most of it was done next to Luke's actually. And he came in, he's like, "Whoa, what's going on?" So it can be alarming. Horses have photographic memories. In some cases, they're they know what looks familiar. When something changes, they're on it. Um, so I think that there's a level of a little bit of stress, but I think what is good is for them to experience that relatively often. To not always have the exact same spot, be in the exact same place, and do the exact same thing all the time. Having that variety, I think, is just emotionally and mentally good for them. Yep. Anna's here from Sweden. Hello, Anna. All right, I asked because I'm clearing out for a paddock, and your videos have been such a help. I'm looking to start with a 40 by 80, just hoping that was large enough, with graveling half of that. 40 by 80 is fantastic. That's like the size of the forest paddock, which is, I think, is a great size. Half gravel. I think you're going to find in time that it's going to be not so half gravelly so much if half of it's dirt. I don't know, depends on where you live. We're pretty soggy here, so anything that's mud next to gravel, usually the mud carries over and the gravel carries over, and pretty soon it's just one. If you are going to put in gravel, make sure to put in fabric, heavy fabric. It's called filter cloth here in Canada, but I don't know where you are. But put that in between your dirt and your gravel, and hopefully the mud and water won't come up to mix, and then get rid of your gravel, because gravel is expensive, costs money. So by putting in fabric, you'll protect that. Brenda says, oh, Bridget's in Washington. Okay, you're not very far away. That's cool. Washington, D.C. or Washington State? I don't know. When Gracie trots, it looks like she's not touching the ground. So beautiful. I know. When Gracie goes trotting out really nicely, she looks like she's floating. It's amazing. Which is why your building videos are such a help to me. Fantastic. Washington State. Oh, you're just down south. Yeah, I've done a lot of build videos, and over time have learned. I've learned to make things square, plumb, level, things like that. And in the beginning, I have some really, really old videos. Like way back, you'll see that this place was a mud pit. And I thought that a paddock could be sand. I thought it'd be okay if it was sand. Put in a layer of sand and stuff, and that just turned to absolute total muck. It mixed with the dirt and the clay and everything, and it was a nightmare, an absolute nightmare. So I then learned that I must properly fabric and then gravel, before tamping it. You got to have a good 3 inches of gravel for sure. My latest video on the forest extension build shows how I dealt with putting in leveling it, fabricing it, graveling it, tamping it. And even then, it's still getting dug up a little bit. It's only now, so it's started to rain and properly tamp that down, that it's starting to harden a little bit. And finally not being sort of dug up or churned up just from walking on it. This place is going to be a mud pit. Definitely doing the fabric gravel French drain thing. Like you've been showing. Yeah, 100%. Drainage is very important. The water has to get somewhere. Being in Washington, you are just as bad as we are with this darn rain that just soaks and saturates everything. And the more, so one of the things I've learned here is that the more I gravel, the more essentially I'm paving over earth, the earth here. And so that water does have to go somewhere. So you must be able to plan how that water is going to leave, not just now, but in the future, if you ever to make anything more, and make sure it can go, it can leave in a efficient manner. And I wouldn't say I've completely succeeded at it. It's pretty good. We've had some pretty strong rain. We had a torrential rain on Wednesday, just buckets, as I think it was 4 inches in 12 hours. And part of the arena was a little washed out and stuff, but it was all able to go because there's a lot of pipes in the ground around here. So drainage, yes, very important. So it looks great. Thank you. Yep. Okay, Brenda's going to bed. I am almost finished myself. I did have one more question from comments that I was going to do, so I will go back to that because there's two that I wanted to cover for sure. So the first one that I covered, which David put up a link for much earlier in this video, was exactly why horses bite and kick and how to fix it. So we talked about biting and kicking. And then the next question, let's do a fast one actually. Leona asked, she likes Peggy a lot. She says, Peggy makes me so happy to watch on this gorgeous day. Can you tell if horses seem to react when one leaves after being together for so long? And that's I'll do this one because it's a really common question that's coming up because Peggy's leaving in a few days. She's leaving on Thursday. Today is Sunday. So we got 4 days of Peggy left. 3 days and a half. Yeah. How is Gracie going to react? People say, how's Gracie going to do? Is she going to be okay? Is she going to miss her? How's Peggy going to feel when she goes there? And my general answer is horses kind of live in the moment. And when Peggy goes to her next place, she's going to immediately try to make friends. She's going to be in the moment saying, where's my place? Who's a friend? Who's not going to be a friend? Who do I have to kick? Who do I have to scratch? And very in the moment. Doesn't mean that she won't think about her life here. She's been here for 2.5 years, I think now. It's been a while. And I do believe that there'll be thoughts inside of her that wonder why or how, if she were to, I don't even think it's fathomable. It's no different than if you lived at your house and then somebody picked you up and chucked you in a car with blacked out windows and took you somewhere, and you're like, well, I don't know where I am. And you had no knowledge of how to get around at all. Like, no road. You didn't understand road systems. You only had the opportunity to walk. You knew where the sun is, kind of idea. You have those basic knowledge. But I think for horses, they're like, well, okay, here I am. Well, I guess, who are you? And you? They just make what it is. But I do think that she will think back and probably, have some thoughts and wonder if those horses are coming as well. When are they coming? Maybe, right? And then I think over time it would just fade. Like, oh, they're not here today? Oh, well, how's Bob over there? Or, where's my food? I think. But I think Gracie will have a harder time and she will wonder why Peggy left. I think she may call out, but I'm going to try to keep her occupied with another friend. She's got a lot of friends here. So it's a good question. Hopefully it makes sense. Some of the comments are funny. Southern Skywoman says, do horses know and respond to their names like some other animals do, such as dogs? And I said, I don't know. I've never seen a horse that responds specifically to their name. I've changed Zeus's name. They've given him at least 10 nicknames, and he comes to all of them. So do they know their name exactly? Horses? I said maybe, I don't know. And then somebody else replied, yes. So I'd say it's personal choice. If you think they do, awesome. Where was that other question? I'll do one more and then I'm going to go up too. It was recent, and it was a story. And this person says, I watched this, and it was safety around horses and safe way to pet horses and reading horse behaviors. That's the whole video. I watched this because there's a really cute horse. The first horse I haven't been anxious around, that comes running when my son and I call him. He loves a pet and a scratch and a chat. Until some kid, about 10 or so, came along and he started snorting in his face. The horse snorted in the kid's face. The kid was clearly scared of the horse, but pretended not to be because we were petting him. He seemed like the horse was trying to get rid of him, or was maybe finding it funny how the kid was reacting when he was snorting on him. Have you ever seen this yourself? Have I seen anybody snorting on a horse? No, but there are, I don't know what snorting is to this person per se, but I do have a couple thoughts. One, horses blow their nose a lot. When they're running around and they kind of get a runny nose, they go, and out comes a bunch of snot. They snort. And then there's the other type where you see in the video just recently of Hannah and Rue, that little bit, where Tana ran back to Rue, put him in the corner, and then stood tall. I don't know, horses do hear it all the time. And they snort out really loud, and Rue does it as well. That's different. That's really, really different. And then the third scenario that I imagine is somebody going up to a horse and just blowing in their nose really hard or something like that. Horses tend to handle that well, but it's kind of an unusual thing. And I've done it just to check it. I'll sometimes be really close and I'll go really loud just to see if they're going to respond out of sort of experimentation, not really any particular theory. But I'll blow in a horse and they'll breathe in to check that out, and then they'll breathe out, and you have to stick around for that a little bit. You're doing a horse communication, even though it makes no sense to us. It makes sense to them. But the breaths in and out, the speed of them, and the amount is a communication method. So I'd say if somebody came along and just blew air into them, it does mean something to a horse, and I would really be concerned about what came back. Did they just blow their nose, or did they actively snort out loud and get taller? What did their body do? If they got taller and their body got big and they snorted at you, I'd be concerned. I'd say that is definitely one of the ways that they sort of roar, I guess you could say. It would be the equivalent of a roar. In the animal kingdom that does that, probably cats, lions or tigers kind of thing. And if a horse did that to me, I would be concerned. I would ask them to calm down and settle back. That's not acceptable. Don't do that to me. You want to do that to the forest or some other horses, whatever, not to me. So I would be concerned. If it was just a blowing of the nose, I'd be like, hey, knock it off. I don't like horse snot. So it's a great question. It's an odd one, so I wanted to sort of cover that. But again, I'll try to wander back into those comments and let them know. So anyhow, Larson says you can send some of that rain to the northeast. We're in the middle of a moderate drought. Oh yeah, if I could control it, I would send it all your way. But we're actually having sun for the next week, so the rain saturated everything, cleaned everything up. It's actually kind of much fresher. Got rid of the smoke and all that, so it's good. So, yeah, a lot of fires. I think it's coming pretty close to the Robin's here. Hello, Robin. David's back. Cool. My mare lady responds to hers. I can be at the barn, call up for her. She comes running. My pony responds to his too. Well, that's interesting because I would wonder if you called out baby instead of lady, would your horse come running? Does your horse know your voice, the intonation, the accent of the call? Like lady. So if you said crazy or baby or something like that, would your horse still come running? Or would it be like, what? She's not calling me. My name's Lady. That's my curiosity for animals, because there's also actually a study done on how many different sounds horses can separate out. And there weren't very many, supposedly. I don't know how exactly they know that, but so I'm curious. You'll try that? Give it a go. Let me know how it goes. I like it myself. I don't have any horses that come to my call. I just show up and get over here or something, and they kind of come. But not, I do try to use their names, don't get me wrong, but I think that they just come because I call them. And Zeus is the same. I call him all kinds of things and he still comes running. You know, it's about the draw that you're requesting through your, I think, but hopefully I'm wrong. Okay, well, it's 9:30 here. I didn't plan really to go this long, but I have. You ever heard of 20? Fantastic. It's amusing to play with them with theories like this. I love experimentation with behaviors from us or them, or us to them and them to us. And I mean, obviously, if you watch enough of my videos, I'm constantly testing ideas out and confirming some stuff and being able to replicate. It's a scientific approach in a way. It's through humor. David says, I think it's the tone. I can call my dog different names in response to the tone and pitch more than the actual name. That's my observation. Yeah. Yeah. But that said, though, I mean, I do think that Zeus would come better to the name Zeus. I think he comes better to that, but would respond either way. So, yeah, I don't know how you separate that out. I don't know how you'd really, really know. Other than to recognize you as the person. Autumn is here, says Anna. Autumn is here too. We recently turned into autumn 3 or 4 days ago or so. Went from summer to fall. Yep. Yep. So anyhow, I think I'm going to call it an evening. I'm done my coffee. It might be hot tub time. Beautiful, really nice evening. And the moon's been slowly making its way over behind me. It's nice. So, all right. Okay, everybody, thanks for popping in. Great questions. If there's anything more you kind of thought, oh, yeah, I would like to have known something, just chuck in the comments. I'm getting the comments as fast as I can for all the other videos as well. But it's great having you guys. Thanks for popping in. And I'll see you guys again soon. I'll probably do a video tomorrow. It's supposed to be really nice. We've got lots going on. Very busy weekend, so I didn't get much this weekend, but I will. And post something cool, hopefully. Thanks for doing this. I'm glad I caught you. Thank you for the videos. You're welcome, and thank you very much. Good info. Have a great night. Good night, everybody. If I had another Caribbean animal to hear, yeah, Kathy, working with animals is awesome. David, I see you tomorrow. All right, everybody, have a good night. Or if you're across the world, you might have having a good morning or good afternoon. If so, go for it. And I'll see you guys in the next one. All right.